Hey, JT, you little sicko, get the fuck out of here before I come in there and break your leg.
It's been 5 years since PS2 owners could dominate the Liberty City crime scene in 3D. Following the critical success and impressive sales of Liberty City's first handheld venture, the infamous Metropolis returns to the platform that made it famous. But with less features than both Grand Theft Auto 3 and Liberty City Stories for PSP, what's the point?
Gee, don't you trust me no more, JD?
Son of a bitch, Benny, you set me up.
If you didn't play the PSP version and need an outline of the design, gameplay, and story of the original Liberty City Stories, check out our PSP review. Unless specifically indicated, the same likes and gripes apply. It's interesting and difficult to compare a PSP game to a PS2 game, because we're so used to doing it the other way around. On the PSP, it was easy to forgive the lack of graphic power and functionality fans had come to expect from the GTA franchise due to the phenomenal task of creating a 3D free-roaming city on a handheld. But on the PS2, it isn't, and most of the things one would expect to now be fixed aren't. The frame rate noticeably suffers, which is surprising considering Grand Theft Auto's extensive tour of duty on the PS2. San Andreas was arguably the hardest the PS2 has ever had to work to make a game run smoothly, so Liberty City should be a walk through Belleville Park, right? It's also ridiculous that you have to load in between islands, when San Andreas was nearly limitless. After the resolution difference, the graphics are the same, if not slightly better than the PSP version. But that's not a good thing. It's been more than half a decade since GTA 3, and the polish that one might expect to see given the advancements in environment textures and streaming isn't there. All of the controls ups and downs from the PSP version carry over to the PS2. You can precision target, jump out of cars, and shoot out tires. But you can't climb, swim, or fly. The targeting system is still flawed, despite the flood of complaints from critics and fans of GTA on PSP.
You're disgusting. Where's your respect?
At the same time, it's GTA. By default, it's incredibly fun to play any title that gives you this much freedom. And the control is a step up due to the addition or return of a second analog stick.
I call it multitasking, Antonio.
PSP owners had to hold the left shoulder button to move the camera. But outlaws with a PS2 controller can drive and run while adjusting their perspective. GTA gamers coming straight from San Andreas or Vice City will also feel at home with the weapon selection and other control options, instead of those of us that had to struggle with the PSP's button limitations. But the biggest reason for PSP owners to stick with the version of Liberty City Stories they should already own is the unforgivable absence of multiplayer. Rockstar has given several reasons why it's gone, but that doesn't make it feel less like a wasted opportunity. If anything, it's just embarrassing to see a portable game do things its console counterpart won't.
Relax, Tony.
Where's my money?
See? That's the problem.
Stand there and shut your yap, Casa.
Yeah, okay, Tony, but I don't feel comfortable. Hey, easy with that, Tony. It's the on switch for the...
The characters, missions, and events from the PSP version are all completely identical, so there's not much to talk about here, if not to mention that the two stories are the same. Because with all the previously mentioned flaws, the only reason anyone who hasn't played Liberty City Stories yet should get the new PS2 version is for the story.
I'm just busting your balls. Relax.
It's not as expansive as Vice City or San Andreas, but it has tons of humor, and any GTA fan can't afford to miss it.
Who's gonna be Mama?
Oh my.
It doesn't feel good to fault Rockstar for giving PS2 owners another GTA adventure at the discounted $20 price tag. But it's a surprise and a disappointment to see how little they bothered to upgrade Liberty City Stories.
Don't move, asshole!
Especially when they clearly had the technology to do so. The PS2 version is the best way to experience the story, but the PSP version is still a vastly superior game.